Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the
Hello
internet
and welcome
or
to
by
the
calling
East
in by
Lampeter
phone.
Township
The
Public
public
Meeting.
is also able
All
to observe
participants
the
are
meeting
now
on the
informed that
Township's
this meeting
YouTube
is
channel. Please continue to check the Township
People
website calendar
ask
for
me
any updates related to the agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
To the Monday, October 18th meeting of the East Lampeter Township Board of Supervisors. My name is Corey Meyer, and I will call the meeting to order. With me is Vice Chair John Blowers and Supervisor Glenn Eberly. And Dave and Ethan are absent. Okay. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank Vice Chair John Blowers for running the last 2 or 3 meetings.
Two against you.
Thank you. Appreciate
You're welcome.
that.
Absolutely.
Well-planned vacation for me, for you to run the meetings.
And well deserved.
Oh, thanks. Next on the agenda, we have public comment for non-agenda items only. Is anyone here for public comment for non-agenda items? Hey, Tara, any emails or?
None.
Okay, we'll move on. We have number four on the agenda. We have the consent agenda. We have a few items. The first is approval of the October 18th Board of Supervisors meeting agenda. We do have 2 changes to the meeting agenda. 5 LEMSA presentation that will be postponed. We don't have a date. Or November, right? Okay. Great. And then discussion regarding zoning ordinance amendments that will be pushed off, hopefully to the November meeting as well. So with that, that is the agenda. Next, 4B, with approval of the minutes of the Monday, October 4th regular meeting. And C, we have approval to pay invoices from all funds, a total of $581,702.71. Of those bills to be paid, there's just 2 amounts, significant amounts, $329,111.30 to the city of Lancaster for quarterly sanitary sewer treatment charges, and $30,383.43 to TIF fund for the township 2021 TIF obligations. That is our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
So moved by Glenn, second by John. Any other comments from the board? Any comments from the public for the consent agenda? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, consent agenda passes. Thank you. Next, skip 5. We have 6. We have old business agreement regarding fringe improvements, True Hotel.
Sorry, I
Okay.
forgot to turn my mic on. So this property has been sold. When the property was developed, there was an agreement to complete the frontage improvements in accordance with the streetscape plan with the former owner now. And so this agreement is essentially to release them from that obligation. They would be giving the township the funds that were the amount anticipated for the cost of those improvements. And the agreement would allow the township to use those funds anywhere along the corridor, including along their frontage.
Yep.
So this is in the area of our phase 3 project, which is under design. We're working on the permitting, et cetera. Hope to get that under construction next year. So we'll have choices. The funding that we have for that project is state funds, so I'm not sure about mixing dollars, but we would at least have the dollars to use somewhere along the corridor.
Great.
Anything else about the agreement
I think that's.
covers it?
An agreement was written by our solicitor and agreed to upon by the landowner.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So the new owner knows that these will be done at some time. I mean, he's not gonna be saying, well, I never knew that.
We'll make sure that the new owner is aware of the improvements. We're going to have meetings with all the property owners out there before we do our project anyway. So, there'll be construction.
But what I mean is, the new owner is aware that this is coming in the future. It's not like I'm gonna be blindsided and say, I never knew that was gonna happen. I mean,
It
is
is-
it part of their sales agreement that it's gonna be improved?
It is noted as a future improvement on a recorded plan.
Okay. So they know it's.
If they looked at the recorded plan, they would know it. Again, as we get closer to the point of construction of our project, which would include the frontage
Right.
of this property, we're going to have meetings with property owners out there to make sure they're aware that the construction's coming and what's being done. So
If I'm correct, the improvements to the frontage that we're talking about in this plan would have been covered by their sidewalk, right? Didn't they?
no, not entirely. They did some of the work, but the curb line is going to move. And then it's supposed to be an 8-foot wide paved trail.
We painted lines, right? We painted lines in the road to narrow the road so the curb would move north.
Correct.
We didn't put the 8-foot, I thought we put the 8-foot in. I thought we required that when they did it.
That portion was deferred.
Okay, okay.
Because we hadn't started the phase 3 probably at that point. I mean, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the
Earlier.
timing too. That was early on,
Very
shortly
early on
after
in
we
this.
adopted the plan.
Okay.
It was, and there's a right turn lane there in
Yep.
front of their property.
Into Coles or Mill Creek Square, whatever that's called. Okay,
Yes.
okay,
And so it moves into that right turn.
Okay.
Curve does.
okay. Yeah, back then I guess I would probably share that same concern, Glenn, just that we're changing hands, the property is changing hands, just so that the new owner recognizes the fees are paid, by this existing owner, but at least can we notify the new owner that, hey, as this is changing hands, that commitment is paid for by the old owner, but let you know that at some point, we may come in and begin to do something in front of your property. I'm with you on that one. I think they should know that.
Transparency to them. I mean, you would hope the current owners would be having those conversations with the future owner about it, but I think what I'm hearing is let's be proactive about it
Yeah.
as much as we can.
I mean, I'm not sure that when people are transferring property, they're coming into a township municipal building and saying, hey, can we see the plan from 8 years ago to see what was required? I would like to think that they do, but
They do. Somebody in their team, attorneys or somebody
Generally,
is
sure,
looking at those. Well, they don't come here. They go to the county where it's recorded. But
okay,
it's usually looked at.
thank you.
Okay, so we have a legal agreement between us and the current owner, addendum to the site improvement agreement. Any other questions before we take a motion?
Nope.
Okay,
Make a motion that we approve an agreement with the existing owner of the True Hotel, that we would be, I guess, at this point, taking the in lieu of amount of $21,550 for future road frontage improvements as per the developer's agreement on that property. That's it.
Second.
okay, motion made, second. Any other comments from the board? Okay, any comments from the public? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have 7A, Beitzel Spraying Land Development Plan 21-22-685 Apartment Station Road. Floor is yours.
My name's Amanda Girl for
Sounds good. Yeah, you're gonna have to, unfortunately, sometimes you can hold the microphone, you can hold the mic, you can actually.
take it
Take
off,
a microphone and come up, whatever's comfortable.
There you go, perfect.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah,
I'll start again. So
sure.
my name is Amanda Groff with Harbor Engineering. We're on behalf of Wexel Spring. They own the property 65 Parkland Station Road, which is about an acre and a half, and it's within the like industrial district. Wexel Spring is a farm building sanitation company. And what they're looking to do with this plan is remove an existing modular office that's to the west of their existing building property. And then they want to replace it with a larger office connected to their existing building. And then associated with that, they also want to add some parking to address their existing primarily. They don't have very many customers.
Mhm.
So as part of that, they're also access drive up to the parking. There is an existing shared driveway leading each property to the south, and that is within the existing property. They currently have some lots of different, but they're going to connect to the public sewer with this project. To work through all that. And they didn't need to do that. There is also an existing law on the property which will remain. And then for stormwater, subsurface to handle the additional impervious area. It is less than an acre of disturbance. Conservation district. We also have a relatively new letter from the notice and comments. But unless there are any
I don't have any questions. Does anyone have any? I'm fine if you want to.
At this point, no.
Yep, continue.
So we're asking for waivers and
Yep.
modifications from the subdivision and development plan. First one is section 303 regarding the new plan application. Next one is section 403 regarding drafting standards. Again, asking for a waiver to use 12 scales.
50 versus 100.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
Next one is section 402. And we're asking for a modification to show the existing features within an area. Next one is section 503A11. And we're asking for a deferral of roads. Next one is section 504A, curves along existing streets and along new parking compounds. So this would include a deferral, curving along the, and then a waiver for curving along the new. Next one, section 505A, and then also 505C, 505G, regarding sidewalks. The first one again is for deferral of roadway, and then the second one is regarding not having sidewalks. We're also asking for to confirm the stormwater management ordinance. As there are section 3 and 307. That's regarding the maximum load ratio of forest areas. We're asking for a modification of 5 to 1 pervious instead of. And the last one is section 40355, existing features and modification. Existing features.
Yep, no. It's
okay.
Pretty clean. Yep.
No, that's okay.
So do you, on this plan, do you have the designs for the future, the things that were for deferrals, the sidewalks and the curbing and such, is that actually on this design? Or,
I know that the deferral agreement is required. That's listed in the-
Right. Yeah.
No, we don't have anything.
Okay.
You probably have that.
I think we'd like to, Amanda. Do you mind, Mr.
No,
Chairman?
please
Yeah,
go.
thank you.
Yeah, go.
This part of our communities evolved over the years to become obviously it's in our light industrial, but we were very intentional about trying to recognize it over the past 5-10 years as we've been, updating our zoning ordinance. And it truly is a great little thriving economic hub. So we want to keep it going and promote it and want to see the business expand there. But it has reached a point, if you took a look at that, from a strategic point of view, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish parcels that we've been deferring. This would be the 6th, I guess, something like that. And we have been deferring these over the years. I think Mr. Eberly was mentioning just a moment ago, we were referencing a hotel, Lincoln Highway. We've been, I think this present board has really been working hard to call this out to applicants over the years. When we defer things, saying, doesn't mean that we're not going to do it at some point. We just want you to recognize that, we see that at this point in time, maybe there's not a pertinent demand that we do those things, but we also want future property owners to know that if upon some point we say it's time to go, some of these could require thousands of dollars of improvements for some property owners. So this, where your applicant is proposing, we're getting pretty close. We could have probably 5 parcels connect up to Norman, and then when you cross over Norman to the north, we've got one there that's already improved. So we could really create a domino here at some point, and bring in some pretty significant improvements to an area that's becoming ever more of a thriving industrial community, I guess, light industrial. So that would be my concerns. If we don't call it out and the improvements are put on the plan, everyone kind of goes away and forgets about it, or maybe the existing or what you're proposing improvements don't take into consideration those future improvements, and then we end up with a problem later on trying to make accommodation for them. So I would like to see what future improvements are going to require. I'd like to see those shown on the plan. Okay, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I would say any future improvements that have to be made, I think they're going to need to be shown so that your applicant
Doesn't have to
your
redo
client
work.
Yeah, your client, whatever you're doing now, that can be accommodated, whatever you want to do now, in relation to what would have to be done in the future, based upon the deferral. That makes sense, Ralph?
And I think to answer your question more directly, yes, the grading would be involved in all of that. So the widening, the curbs, the sidewalk, all per the standards in the ordinance. And then whatever associated grading needs to happen in order to accommodate that.
Yeah. As I think, Amanda, what I'm getting at is, maybe not too distant in the future, this board or a future board may decide it's time to kick this off, and let's really improve all of the frontage and all the requirements along Hartman Station Road, just to bring it all together now. We're not there right now, but I think I could see a future board doing that.
Questions for us?
I guess one more clarification on
Yeah.
that regard. So if we're showing the deferred
Yeah, you would need to show that as well on the plan.
Show the stormwater improvements. They're not gonna have to do them, no.
Right, not until they install.
Yeah. So you would show those
Right.
stormwater management
There's a
improvements.
way to include that in the existing stormwater on the plan. Deeper basin, a deeper infiltration pit. I forgot what I said. I put it down. It's not-
Yeah, it's infiltration.
Yeah.
So it may make more sense to do that now. If, because I think we're talking about something that's probably pretty marginal addition. That would make sense, yeah.
I think, yeah, begin there. How much are we really talking about of additional impervious? And then move from there. But I think in the long run, it's going to save your applicant time and money. And coming back and suddenly we're requiring a different stormwater plan and if you included it now, you probably solve it all at one time. So. Okay.
Glenn, any questions?
Well, in relation to John mentioned about some kind of connectivity, do we know the properties that we have deferred, are they all south of the railroad track in like the light industrial side of the road?
I think depending upon which direction is which,
It would be interesting to see which properties it would require to connect them all together. To maybe do one project. That way there'd be sidewalks at least on one side of the street through the village there
yeah,
sometime in the future. I
yeah,
hate to see just spotted stuff,
Right.
one here, one. We could see that if there's only like 2 or 3 properties that don't have deferrals, we could maybe do a project and connect them all together.
Yeah.
Sometime in the future.
yeah. I appreciate you saying that, Glenn. That's my thoughts too. I can see we're getting awfully close. If you look at the railroad tracks, I'll say south, it could be east. I'm not sure there, but if you come there, you have Quarry View Building Group. They already have the improvements. Then you get to Norman Road that goes into the small light industrial area. And then I'm not sure what the parcels are south. There's probably multiple there on 691, I believe. But then you have Beitzel's, Landis, and suddenly you've got the next like 4. They're all deferred.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're getting pretty close here to having, from the railroad track down, almost 6, 7 properties there. So. Okay. All been deferred over the years. Yeah. Which I, would want your client to understand that's why we're even having this conversation. We're just looking at this more comprehensively with, I think, a little more of an eye to finally kicking off something that's been deferred for many years. Okay.
Mr. Miller, I see you back there. What questions do you have? If you do have a question, you're gonna have to come up to the mic. Sorry. You don't have any question? Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
good.
fine.
Thanks,
That's fine. We're
appreciate it.
talking about your property. I just thought you were here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, John, I agree with you. At some point, we need to have the conversation, these deferrals, they add up, right? And they make a lot of sense. The project makes a lot of sense when, like you said, you have 6 or 7 properties. My guess would be this would have to be a private project where, Landis Foods gets 6 or 7 of these. It's not a township project, right? I mean, this would be a project, or could it? Would it be cheaper?
It would be up to the board. I think
Yeah.
it's less expensive for private people to
That's
do
what
it. than for us to do.
Right.
But we'd want to look at the design, make sure the design is
Sure.
per the ordinances, but other than that,
Yeah.
it's definitely cheaper if they do it without
Yes,
us
that's that,
involvement.
exactly, without government involved. But yeah, I mean, you know, we're not saying as a board that, at least I'm not hearing that we're saying, hey, you know, start the clock today to make everyone, you know, fulfill all their deferrals. But to John's point, I could see us having that conversation over the next, you know, next board, you know, next couple of years to, you know, to say that the clock starts at that point for a period of time to get those projects done. I mean, 340 is another area where we have a good number of deferrals as well for sidewalks and other deferrals as well. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Back to this plan. Any other? The agenda is light, so we're getting paid by the hour. So I'm gonna just keep talking. Okay. And I missed the last 2 meetings, so I have to talk.
Really excited to be at a meeting.
Exactly. I'm excited to be back in the chair. Any other questions to the applicant or ready for a motion?
I can make a motion.
Okay, please.
Understand where we're going?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary and final land development plan for Beitzel Spraying, 685 Hartman Station Road, as per the David Miller letter from October 5th, 2021. The modifications and waivers, you know, all 7, 8, 9 that are listed here, 10 that are listed here, with the expectation that the applicant is going to go back and make accommodation on their plan for all future improvements that would come as a result of these modifications and waivers, granting these modifications and waivers, but the applicant's going to make accommodation for those and show those on the plan. And then I guess the subdivision and land development financial security looks like 16,965 is what township engineer is recommending as well too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was-
Correct. I could have said that. I apologize. I saw it parenthetically there.
It's the
Yep,
October
yep.
5th, 2021 revised.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it's the only one that I currently have. Yes. Yeah. So yes, thank you, Matt.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Hutch, you have a comment for the motion?
There were some comments offered by the county planning commission. I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware of those. I
Thank
don't know
you
if
for me. That's
the
right.
applicant had
Yeah,
any comment. The township planning commission recommended approval subject to both township engineer comments and county planning department comments.
Yeah. So, John, you accept amendment to your motion to include the county planning commission based on our planning commission, basically the same motion as the planning commission, plus adding in the comments you made about the design should take into account the deferrals modification.
I believe that's correct.
Yes.
So it's not exactly the county, it's the county planning minus.
So, yeah, where you have,
Yeah.
there's a slight conflict
Yes.
between what
Yeah.
the township engineer recommended and what county planning commission is suggesting. So in that case, the township
Township
planning commission favored what the township engineer said in terms of deferring those
Yeah.
improvements.
Because I don't see on, am I looking at the county's letter? The county's comments? I just see comments in relation to alternative transportation, so bicycle pedestrian.
Which include wider shoulders or side path. So the plan should consider those things. Yeah. It's should
Okay,
consider.
okay. But our township planning commission said, hey, we're going with the engineer's review, which is deferral, so.
And in a sense, if you're asking the applicant to show those improvements on the plan, they're sort of addressing those issues in
Agreed.
that way. So,
Agreed. That's how I would consider it. That we're asking that those be shown future, to accommodate the plan to show future improvements. Okay. I don't see anything else in the county letter that,
Contradiction.
yeah, that contradicts. Okay.
Okay, so let's,
Sorry.
I'm going to kill your motion.
Sorry to throw
That's
a bomb.
okay.
in the-
It's okay. I can start my motion
Your
again.
motion.
Sure.
Don't second it. We're not going to second it. We're going to be hard
Sure.
on John. The
Sure, yeah.
motion's killed.
That's
No
okay.
second.
Sure. So
Start
I'll-
the new motion.
Yep, you bet. I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary and final land development plan for Beitzel Spring, 685 Hartman Station Road. This is per the Township Engineer David Miller Associates letter dated October 5th, 2021, revised. Granting all the modifications and waivers listed, 10 of those, with the understanding that the applicant is going to make accommodation on their plan for showing these granted these waivers and modifications, how they would look in the future to accommodate for those. Okay. Would also then make note also that under subdivision land development, financial security is 16,965 is called for by township engineer as well.
And keep county planning except the conflict.
And as per the county planning commission letter, we're calling, the motion does accommodate for those future road improvements. They're deferred as per the county's county planning commission review. Okay,
You comfortable with that?
makes sense, man?
Okay.
All right.
Motion made.
Thanks.
Second. Okay. Any other comments from the board? Thank you, John.
Yeah, you bet.
We haven't voted yet. Any other public comment?
No.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Passed. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, we have a request for time extension for LMS 2176 Lincoln Highway East.
They're still working on their stormwater management plan,
Okay.
and so they need more time to get it ready.
Okay, so moved. Okay,
Second.
so moved by Glenn, second by John. Any other comments from the board or public? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have some action items. We have a few appointments. We have an appointment to zoning hearing board, term ending 11/12/24 for Mr. Scott Augsburger, effective 11/12/21. I'll take, can we do these all together or do them individually?
Whatever the board's
I'm
comfortable with
okay.
is fine.
I'm okay doing more of it.
Okay. 9B, we have appointment to fill unexpired term of zoning hearing board alternate ending 10/2/2022. Mr. Jim Glick, effective 11/12/21. Appointment to the planning commission term ending 11/19/25. Mr. Jason Dagan, effective 11/19/2021. We have appointment of a steering committee representative for the regional recreation. Sounds like Diane Tyson. Diane Tyson has indicated interest and willingness to serve on that committee. We'll have another position as well.
We've asked the other participants to name 3 people,
Three
so
people. Okay.
it would be helpful if we. had
And you're
3.
not, township staff is not included, is that correct?
That's up to the board.
Okay.
I mean, whatever.
Okay.
they want.
Well, we'll do Diane Tyson at this point and we can add more as we go. E, we have authorization to participate in the national opioid settlement. We received a letter from the Office of the Attorney General for that. And they're asking local communities to join the negotiated settlement rather than pursuing an independent legal case. And that is it for the action items. I'll accept the motion to approve those 5 action
So moved.
items. By John, second by Glenn. Any comments from the board? I want to thank these 1, 2, 3, 4 individuals for serving. Diane's been heavily involved in everything from school board to Little League to Parks Board to, and I believe, according to her, she's attended, I think, every school board meeting for 30 years or something.
Really?
So yeah, she during public comment
Holy cow.
a couple, maybe 2 weeks ago or so, she mentioned that.
Good for her.
Yeah, crazy.
Good for
So,
her.
okay, all those, motion made, second, public comment made that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great, thank you. Hutch, manager's report.
Yeah, I would just say it would be helpful to name the other participants on the steering committee. If the board would do that so that we could get that group started, the sooner the better, from my
mean,
perspective.
I'm fine reopening up that agenda item, taking him right now. If we have
So
suggestions.
prior to what's your drop dead date?
Well, when we got the peer consultant on board, she was scheduling meetings in October and
Oh.
trying to get things rolling.
Okay.
I haven't heard yet from either the school district or Upper Laycock in terms of their appointments. But your next meeting is a month away.
Okay,
So
All right.
I'm
let me-
hopeful that they'll name their people
Yep.
soon
Okay.
and we could set up an initial meeting to get things rolling.
were you
I'll-
thinking Mike Thornton?
Well, I was thinking after the first of the year, it could be
Yeah.
I mean, between now and then, I think it's going to be a challenge for him to participate.
Okay. Are the meetings in person or virtual?
Yes. I think the hope was that they would be in person, but they could be virtual as well.
Okay. Is there
Oh.
a staff person that you would want to be on the committee?
Staff's going to be there to
Yeah.
support the
Yeah.
committee either way. So if you want,
An elected official? I wouldn't mind serving.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be helpful
Well,
actually,
Glenn,
because
Yeah,
some of the big issue that this group's going to be wrestling with is, how to set up a regional structure,
Yeah.
how many representatives, who gets votes, all of those sorts of
yeah.
things.
I mean,
So
Glenn, if you're interested.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if elected.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we
Yeah.
appoint Glenn Everly to serve on the steering committee of the Regional Recreation Fund.
okay. Second. Okay. Any public comment? Any comment from the board? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Thanks,
Okay,
Glenn.
deferred.
Thanks,
Two-
Glenn.
two, one abstention. Glenn abstained.
I'll ask around. There's a couple of people that come to mind. Carl Orb's one I'm thinking
Yeah.
of too.
Yeah.
Let me ask around. See
definitely.
what I can find. Okay.
Active.
Great.
Yeah, great. Okay, Hutch, back to you.
Okay. I normally go over, what's been happening with the streetscape plan and the implementation. So we've got the phase 3 project, which is that area from the Dutch Wonderland Tanger intersection east, roughly to about Bowman Road at this point. So we're still in the design permitting process, but we are hopeful that we can get construction going next year. The Rockville Trail project, it's sort of taken a pause, waiting for redevelopment plans to come forward. They haven't. So we're going to get that going again and finish the design and what we need to do there and get that project moving. The funding is there, but there is a clock ticking on it. So we want to move that along. The Western Gateway project, that design process is going through the county and PennDOT and continues. We do expect construction 2024 on that project. That's where the funding
Yeah.
is set at this point. The intersection project 896 and 30, they're in the design process through PennDOT. We expect construction in 2023 at that intersection. I did report at an earlier meeting that, I hope I did, that PennDOT's including the enhanced crosswalks as well as the decorative signal
Yeah.
pole
Yeah.
equipment all around the intersection. And they're not asking the township to contribute towards those costs at all. So,
Great.
yeah, that was a win. The branding, gateways, and wayfinding project continues through the consultant, and we're probably going to need to set up some more steering committee and stakeholder meetings in the near future to start going over some more of those things now that the branding is basically in place. Strasburg Pike Oakview Road Trail project, we had a sort of a kickoff meeting with the folks from the county who will be overseeing the design process. We're waiting for some additional information to come back from them before we can really get things started, but we hope that design gets started soon. And we've got a bunch of private projects out along the corridor that continue to go through various stages of design, permitting, and construction. The only thing I'll report on, I did attend on behalf of the township the PSAT's business meeting in Hershey this past Friday. The main part of business was the voting on all the various legislative resolutions that are typical at
Local police radar.
among
On
other
the
things.
list.
You know, it's continues to be on the list.
Yeah.
So that was, you know, the usual thrilling activity that
Right.
it is. So
Yeah.
that's done for now.
How many pieces of legislation? Like 30 to 50? Usually it's a long list of.
There were 79 resolutions voted on.
And approximately how many passed?
About 70.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty
And
significant.
some
batting
after some
average.
heated discussion.
Yeah.
There was interesting. The one resolution is asking for legislation that would effectively allow the township to do away with the auditor's positions.
Yeah.
But then essentially the same resolution was up asking for the ability to choose to do away with the tax collector position, and that failed. So despite a variety of horror stories from other townships
Right.
about tax
Right.
collector experiences that they had had,
Right. Because the auditor position is paid, but it's very small, right?
$10 an hour.
Right.
kind of-
Right.
it's-
Tax collector position is definitely, the lobby's much bigger for tax collectors.
I guess.
Okay.
But it wasn't,
Yeah.
you know, it was just to give each township the choice. you know,
Sure.
and that's still.
Exactly. Okay.
Anyway,
Interesting.
What's the strongest opposition to that?
in some communities, the tax collectors are very powerful
Right.
positions, and there seems to be a
They
lot
could,
of,
they could still continue that, right?
they could.
Yeah, but
And that was,
they-
But
They
you give a
don't- they-
chance
They
that you
just
could
don't,
lose that.
exactly. They just
You
don't
know,
want to
it's like-
open the door.
Because right now you have to, you know.
So we keep doing what we
so
do.
we keep doing the dance, yeah.
Wow.
You just have to remember to do it each time.
Right, yeah, never fail.
Glenn Eberly up next year.
Any updates on the American Recovery Act and what we can use the money on, what we can't?
You know, when the funding was first announced, there were those four very sort of vague
Right.
categories.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on some more detailed guidance on
Mhm.
that. So I was hoping that, you know, we'd have more detailed guidance by the
Yeah.
time that we get through the budget process.
Right.
We don't have it right now, but
Yeah.
and I remain hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that coming from the county?
Federal government.
So it's coming, and approximately 700.
We got the first distribution, which was, it was more than 800,000.
800,000.
And the second distribution is expected,
Okay.
you know, June of next year, same
Yeah.
amount. So
Yeah.
I think the total is a little over 1.7.
Yeah.
that we're expecting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Any questions for staff?
No.
Okay, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second, any public comment for the adjournment? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.